let me tell you a story that happens actually way too often, and I need to reframe it so that you understand what you need to be focusing on instead. The story goes as follows. A student comes up to me in my DMs and asks me, Psychoma, do you have some tips and tricks for the solo cash grub so I can improve fast and really just get a qual in the solo cash grub? The funny thing is, the way this is worded is completely fine. He's asking a very normal question. That's not the issue. The issue comes from what it reminded me of. It reminds me of the fact that most people in the community think about the end result way too often. I want to make earnings. I want to qual. I want to place top 10. I want to be a pro. Slight rewording of this can change everything. What about how can I become a pro? How can I qual? What do I need to do to qual? Notice the reframing of this. Now I'm reframing it in such a way so that I'm asking, what is the input? Saying that you want earnings doesn't actually do anything, because we obviously know that, and you know that. Ask yourself the question of what I need to put in to get that result. You will never see a farmer going to the farm and just watching the soil and being like, I want a plant. I want my crops to grow. Of course you do. That's obvious, right? What about, what do I need to do for my plants to grow? This is a much more productive question, because then you'll actually think about what the plant actually needs and the fundamentals of growing a plant or a crop or anything, right? So then you'll actually list out, okay, what do I need to do? It needs light, it needs air, it needs water, it needs nutrients, it even needs space around it to grow properly. Notice with this simple reframe, you start noticing all the things that you need to actually do to get the outcome instead of worrying about the outcome itself, which is kind of foolish, because like if a farmer were to do that, if the farmer is looking at the soil and just being like, I want to plant, why isn't it growing? That is foolish. That's actually stupid. Yet we're all doing the same thing. We're all like, I want earnings, but it's like, look at what you're actually doing. Simple exercise, actually, right? Go and look back your past 3 days of practice. Go and look at what you've done. Does it align with your weaknesses? Because actually, if the plant gets sunlight and if it gets water, but it's surrounded by so many other plants that it cannot grow because it does not have space, because then you do not increase the sunlight and the water because that's already fixed. You need to fix the problem. And in your case, you need to find what your weakness is. What is holding you back? Can't just keep practicing what you're already good at, because that's foolish, just like with the plant example. And so you need to actually worry about what is holding you back. And so this requires reflection. This requires analysis. Let's actually do a very simple exercise right now. Literally all of you guys watching this video, go down into the comments and tell me your top 3 weaknesses as a player. But Psychoma, you're not going to read all 200 comments. It doesn't matter. It's not for me. It's not for me. You have to understand this. I'm making you do this as an exercise for yourself so that you can genuinely see what you think your weaknesses are. And it's important that you know them, because the only way you can begin to actually work on your weaknesses is if you identify them. Guys, I literally can't stress this anymore, and it's pretty painful for me to sit here talking about this, because I know that there will be a certain percentage of people who watch this video and don't do this, and it's important that you watching this video do not become part of that statistic, and you actually save yourself the time and improve faster as a result. I want to help you guys improve, but I can't do it if you guys don't want to help yourselves. So really try to think back to your gameplay, think back to your good and bad habits, think back to absolutely everything so that you can figure out exactly what your weaknesses are. And if you can actually do this and do it somewhat accurately, I think it would actually put you ahead a lot of people, because you're going to be set to actually focus on the things that end up mattering. Going from 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 in your mechanics will not actually improve you all that much. Using literally that exact same energy and effort, you can then make your decision making go from a 2 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. And that to me is a very surreal difference. But it's also most likely what's holding you back in fights, right? Your 8 out of 10 mechanics is not holding you back in fights. It's obvious to me that it's not because you miss edits or anything like that. Maybe 1 out of 10 times it might be, but 9 out of 10 times is because of what you truly are bad at. What is holding you back? It's your weaknesses. The next question should then be, what can I do about this? What are the inputs that I can actually contribute to fix this issue? Because saying that my decision making is bad and I'm going to work on it, unfortunately, is not good enough. That's not actionable. What does work on it mean? Make it more specific. Is it that I'm going to VOD review every single fight that I ever take in this future? Is it that I'm going to watch every scrim back? Is it that I'm going to talk with my friends and discuss what they think my weaknesses are? What is it going to actually be? And set up a plan so that you actually have some change change in your routine so that you actually see change in your gameplay. This is a very simple process, guys. It's not that complicated. If you rewire your brain to focus on the inputs rather than the outputs, and like I said before, most people in this community like to focus on the output. If you can then change it so that you are focusing on the input, you separate yourself completely from the rest of them, and you will actually have severe changes through your gameplay because of the fact that you're actually focusing on the right things. You're focusing on the controllable, the actionables, and the things that you can actually do to improve at the game. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed the videos recently, consider dropping a sub because I'm not stopping anytime soon, and we'll see you guys next time.